Hey y'all, welcome to TXC Tells All. Happy Sunday, y'all. This is a rare sighting with me and Louie. Actually in the same room.
Right.
We in the same room, y'all. We actually both do live in Houston and we really know each other.
Right.
But how's everybody doing? If you're hopping in the chat, make sure you say hello. We are going to be talking today about Flo Rida, y'all. If you have been watching the news or on social media, it's been all over. Flo Rida got an 82 million plus verdict about last week. Florida jury in, I think it's Broward County, decided that in his breach of contract claim, he was the winner. So they had a trial against Celsius Energy Drink Company. The company is actually called Celsius Holdings. Flo Rida used to be a brand ambassador for them back in about 2014 for a few years. They had a contract. The contract had specific terms as to how much Flo Rida was supposed to get paid, his stock options, and all of that. They breached the contract, according to him. They presented the case to the jury. The jury found in Flo Rida's favor, so he gets, well, him and his attorneys, because his attorney's about to get rich too. But I think it's $82.6 million. So
that's a lot. Before you go into though, if you guys are new here, I'm LaRita.
Yes.
I'm Tracey. We're attorneys here. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the thumbs up. It pushes out to the YouTube algorithm. So don't leave out without hitting the thumbs up button. And if you're on the live chat, say hi in the chat box. And if you're in the replay game, hashtag replay game in the comments box. So yes, I didn't want to forget about that before she got into the details, because she jumped right into this $82 million judgment that he has against Celsius. So go ahead, sorry.
Yes, no, you're good. That's important. And to all of our subscribers and everybody that's been rocking with us since day one, thank you to y'all too, because we appreciate you. We got somebody that just hopped in, Brennan. Let's see. Let's say hello, Brennan Banks. Hey, Brennan, Howard Law student.
Okay.
All right. What year are you in? Let us know.
Yes, we'd like to see who the law students are.
Like to see. Glad to see you here. Hey, Vajon Robinson. I hope I pronounced your name right. Hi. Thanks for joining in.
Hey, guys.
All right. So we want to hear what you guys have to say about this, too. Hi, Vivian. Nice to see you. Vivian always rocks with us. We appreciate you. All right. So we got some people tuning in. So he gets this $82.6 million verdict.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at. He's
like, yeah, buddy.
Right. Because the contract is a contract. And, both me and LaRita are attorneys. So when you have a contract, there has to be a meeting of the minds, right? You sit down, you have contract terms, and both sides have to adhere to what they said they were going to do. If Flo Rida is being a brand ambassador for the company, he has terms that he has to follow. The same thing goes for the company. So they can't have Flo Rida going around promoting Celsius Energy Drink while he's on tour, while he's promoting his albums, while he's promoting his music. He's supposed to get something in return for that. And if he doesn't get it, then there's going to be a problem.
Law student, thanks for that.
Yes. Brennan Banks is listening.
He's paying attention to contracts class.
Your contracts professor to be proud, Brennan. But there has to be a meeting of the minds. You can't just one side is doing everything they're supposed to be doing and the other side is not. And even if some of the contract terms were adhered to, but some weren't, you could still have a claim for breach of contract. So as you can see, some of this stuff happened back in 2014. So it may have taken a long time for it to process through the court systems. Most cases don't even get to trial. So the fact that they got to trial probably meant that they couldn't settle, because I know I saw an article that said that Flo Rida's attorneys had actually initially only asked for $30,000 and his stock option. So I think there was a term in the contract, if any, that he was supposed to get 1% of the 1% interest in the company as well. Now, the $82 million, I don't know if that weighs out to the percentage, but that's what the jury decided based on the evidence that they heard. So usually what happens in these cases a lot of times is what the attorneys are originally asking for, maybe months and years prior to trial, is a fraction of what the jury might award. So Celsius might be kicking themselves in the butt right now saying we could have got out of this for way less.
Right. And what's the take home? I know in Texas, the take, like usually the standard attorney's portion of judgments. Was it here in Texas like
it's 40%?
40% of the judgment, right? So you get a judgment, but as you know, like when you get something, you have to pay your attorneys for it, especially if you didn't pay up front. A lot of these are contingency cases, like, okay, we'll take it on contingency. We don't need anything right away, but if we win, we get a percentage of it, almost 50%, right?
Yeah.
So he's not.
Some attorneys will do 33 1/3, but 40%.
I don't know what the standard is.
In employment cases, it's 40%.
So yeah, that's a pretty good chunk out of it. But think about it, like he hadn't had an attorney represent him, because some people are like, oh, these attorneys are greedy, but they put in a substantial amount of hours and research to make sure he got his judgment. So in essence, they're entitled to, because I'm sure it's a team of attorneys, right? Entitled to a portion of that money. So he's not really walking away with the 82 point whatever $1 million. So they're getting their cut, and who else is gonna get their cut?
Baby mama. No.
She's like, oh, I heard you want some money, and guess who is behind? So let me share the screen with you, because after he won the judgment, one of his children's mother came out the woodworks, is like, hey, he ain't been paying his child support. And Tracey sees that, like, when you have a judgment against you, and if you owe other people, if there's liens against you, if you owe other people, and they have something in the court system that shows that, before you get your cut, they're going to get their cut. So let me share the screen.
I have seen that before. In a lot of times I have overtime cases, and, you know, we get these big judgments, and it's a bunch of different plaintiffs. So a lot of people are getting paid, and people are happy, right? They've been in litigation for maybe 2-3 years. They finally getting their checks. Before any checks are cut to the client, child support agency, the state will come in, and the person cutting the check, so the company has to notify the child support agency that there is a settlement. The child support agency then sends the attorneys that represent the company or the company directly a letter saying this person owes X amount of money. The portion of the settlement is sent directly to the child support, the state agency collecting child support. So I've had clients who had $30,000 settlements where they got $4 after their child support arrears were paid. I've had clients who got settlements who got nothing. It went completely to child support payments. So
it's almost like IRS. Like, if you have back taxes owed and stuff, like, they're gonna get their cut first before you get your cut. So don't think you're gonna get away with something, especially if you file a case. You're not gonna get away with not having to pay the judgment.
Yeah, they'll come in and snatch it
right
before you can even get it.
Right. Vivian says she would gladly give 40% of the 82 million and then pay the money. So he just won the $82 million settlement in a lawsuit against Celsius, accused by ex of shirking custody payments on his disabled son's education and health insurance. Flo Rida has been accused of skipping out on paying for this. Alexis Adams, the mother of Flo Rida's child, alleged to Insider that she is owed over $200,000 from him. Weeks ahead of his court victory against Celsius, Flo Rida sought to decrease his child support payments. She says his real name is Traymar. Traymar winning $82.6 million didn't surprise me, Adams told Insider. Him complying with our child support order by reinstating Zohar's health insurance and being a real family man and father to our son would actually impress me, she said. So he's basically, he's supposed to have his child support between $8,000 and $9,000 a month. He wants to have it reduced. The judge actually increased it. She says, what does he care? Judge Shira Axman told Dillard's lawyer during the hearing. He's not involved in the child's life. He's met him once. This is all about money, and I've had it up to here. So this gives you an indication of he's been ordered before for child support, and he hasn't really been active in the child's life. At minimum, child support. Some people see child support and custody together. Regardless if you don't pay child support, you're still entitled to see your child, right? But he doesn't even care, I guess, of having a relationship with his child. So at minimum, he's doing basically the least you can do, which is the financial part of it. Because being there on a daily basis, when the kid is sick, when the kid has to go to school, homework, taking him to the activities, he has special needs. And I think I read in the article that his wife had enrolled him into a special needs school. He has also autism in Manhattan, which is not cheap. And she basically takes care of those daily needs. His only job is to pay the money.
Like Vivian said, I don't need him to be involved. Show me the money. Like I'm sure his mom has been doing what she has to do since he was born. It doesn't seem like, like LaRita said, he's been in his life from birth. Active. So she's like, look, show me the money so I can take even better care of him. I'm sure she's taking good care of him, but money won't hurt, especially if he has special needs, to get him what he needs.
Right. And I think everybody was all happy for him, go Flo Rida, he won $82 million. And then, you, not to say I don't know the veracity of this article that says he's back child support, right? Mm-hmm. But let's assume that it's true. Things come out, right? You're happy that he won against a judgment from a legal perspective. He owed the money. But then you're like, but you was doing the wrong thing. That might have been your karma, right? Because you wasn't even taking care of your duties as a father to take care of your child financially. And so if she's indeed has back child support, they're going to get their money from him. So it's kind of sad. What do you guys think about it? Vivian Robinson shared some information, and I guess he wasn't involved. I don't know how old the child is.
Yeah, I don't know how old the child is. The sad part about it is, from a legal standpoint, Celsius is probably most definitely going to appeal this judgment. So she said she's owed a little over $200,000 in back child support. I'm hoping that, maybe what happens a lot of times when people get these large judgments at trial, a notice of appeal will be filed within a certain period of time that's set by the statute. So when those notice of appeals are filed, a lot of times the lawyers come to the table and try to settle. Instead of tying it up in appeals for another 4 years, let's see if we can get it settled. And a lot of times that happens and it's done confidentially. So, I've definitely had cases where we filed a notice of appeal just so we could try to push towards a resolution and not have our client have to go through another 4 years of litigation when they may have already been in litigation for 4 years. Let's just try to settle it. Even if we got a great judgment at trial and we won, it's not a win until we get the money in our hands, right? And if it's at a state level, then you can appeal it to that state's appellate court, and then you can appeal it to that state Supreme Court. So that's 2 levels of appeals that could take 4 years at each level. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility to have a win like Flo Rida had and him not see a dime for another 6 to 7 years. That's not unrealistic. So a lot of times people will compromise and take a fraction of the actual judgment that the jury awarded them to avoid having to go through that. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure we'll hear in the media if Celsius does appeal. That will be public record, so we'll be able to see. And then, if the appeal goes silent, then what happened. They settled out of court.
Right. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I wanted to also, because Tracey practices employment law, I practice veterans law. And I know also when veterans get benefits as far as like child support is concerned, because child support is a big issue. I saw on another YouTuber's channel, we talked about child support issues. And when veterans get benefits, and let's say they are not supporting their children, usually the mother of the children can write into VA and say, hey, I need an apportionment of the benefits. And that way they prove that they have the custody of the child and they get a certain portion of the veteran's benefits. So in general, child support is a big issue in whatever court you might be in, veterans court, the regular civil court, because the government values you taking care of your own children, because if you don't, then the government will be responsible for that. So they try their best to try to figure out who's responsible financially, because like I said, it will fall on the government. So even veterans who get disability benefits and tax-free benefits, they actually would have to have a portion. It's not the whole thing, because they don't want the veteran to be destitute, right. But you need to have some part of the money going to someone else. And it could be a dependent child, dependent parent. Sometimes, usually that's not as adversarial as like a dependent child, because usually somebody outside your family. But it does happen in other contexts where child support is not going anywhere. To be honest, you shouldn't be told to pay, right?
You really shouldn't. Flo Rida, even without this $82 million judgment, is not broke. He can afford to financially support his child in some way. So, he needs to be held responsible for that, whether he gets this judgment or not. Assuming that the article is correct, that he does owe back child support. And so, I'm like, if he does owe it and he gets this judgment, good for her. Because I'm always, when I have clients and their kids, are getting these lump sum payments from a settlement that they got, I'm like, I hope it goes to good to take care of the kids. If they're not going to pay it on their own fruition and the state comes in and takes it and gives it to whoever the primary caretaker is taking care of those children, good for them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, I don't know, I just looked it up. The child is only 6 years old now, right?
Okay.
They still have time, although he has not been in this child's life up to this point, you still have time to make it right. Mm-hmm. And he has special needs. And I know sometimes having a child with special needs is a greater responsibility. And sometimes people run from that responsibility because it is a lot of work, right? But if you really want to be involved, this is a child that you created. This is your chance, kind of might be a wake-up call, the child is 6, just probably first or a kindergarten age. You have time, Flo Rida, to step your game up if you haven't already stepped your game up, and do something, versus you'll see how you see the people, the celebrity kids in the news now, they all say stuff about how their parents ain't nothing. You don't want that to be your child when they get older, say you weren't there for me, you ain't do this, and this, because you weren't available. This is your chance to be available to the person. So Rajan says, when a man lays down with a woman and chooses not to use protection, what do you expect to happen? There's a chance that the woman will get pregnant. Men need to take care of their responsibility.
Agree.
I agree. So I'm like, somebody should never tell you that. And yes, I've seen personally people who, they got somebody pregnant and the child has special needs and then they're like, I'm out because this is too much work. Right. Listen, that's a chance you take, and you never know what's going to happen when you have children. And even more so that you need to be available because they have these special needs, because the mom being there on a daily basis, like trying to balance doctor's appointments, trying to also work, keep a roof over their head and provide those special needs. That gives you more reason and sense to say, listen, let me step up and
even if you're not together, you need to support each other so you can support that child.
And it's not just coming from like a mom's perspective. Although I'm a mom, I think I can see it legally too. Like, this is your legal obligation. Like I said, even when they, let's say the mom applies for benefits, like Section 8 and
disability
welfare benefits,
for the child.
They also ask do you know who the parent is? Like, who signed the birth certificate? They're going to go after that person before it steps in, because they're like, they have a legal responsibility to this child. So we'll see what happens. Special needs require more, but that isn't the child's fault.
Right. And the child didn't ask to be here.
Right. So this is what you have to do. So hopefully, like I said, I don't know if this is the case, but you want that money, pay up that child support so that you won't have no problems in the future. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you, Vivian Robinson, Rajan, Brennan.
Brennan, good luck in law school.
Yes.
2 hours right around the corner. You got this. You got this, Brennan.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. You got to get both of us this time. Right. And make sure you comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you have any ideas for any future topics you want to see us do, make sure you comment there as well. So thank you guys. Have a happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday,
we're off to brunch.
Yes, we're out of here. It's still my birthday, y'all.
She's still celebrating her birthday all month long. So we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.